everybody, and welcome back to Spiritual Successor, a comedy video game design podcast where we take your horrible, nasty, cursed video game ideas from all over the internet and turn them into the next AAA titles. I am one of your hosts, AJ Hart.
And I am your other host, Blake Rea. AJ, I have wonderful news.
You won the lottery, and we don't have to pay for anything ever again.
I wish.
Because you and I are legally married, sucker. You should have signed a prenup, idiot.
Oh, shit. Prenups are always such an interesting conversation to hear because it's either going to go like super smoothly. By the way, those who don't know what a prenup is, it is a legal document that you sign prior to marriage saying if you ever get divorced, your assets are treated separately. So rather you like you don't have to split shit 50-50. You get it. You keep all your shit. So prenups are always like weird to me because it's like it's either going to go smoothly of like, oh yeah, you don't know, you never know, life's crazy, or it's like, or it's taken as like in the back of your head like, oh, does this person think it's not gonna fucking work out? Either way, that's depressing, AJ. I want to talk about more positive things. Your boy's vaccinated.
Yo!
Yeah, dude. I got my shots. My arm feels like it's gonna fall off, admittedly, but no allergic reaction. It's one step towards like a better time, dude. I get to go outside again. I get to go see shit. I can go watch the Demon Slayer movie. God, I'm so fucking excited. And I get to come up and see your ass in a couple of months. And you and I are gonna fucking hang out. It's gonna be so good, dude. Life is
just
good.
A couple
And I just
of months, dude. Things are coming back to normal, slowly but surely. We're getting there.
Seriously, and I know like a just personal thing for all the listeners at home. I am sure your year has been like wicked fucking hard, and just like you've been through something, and I think it's gonna be great that the world's gonna open up. You're gonna do all the cool shit that you want. I know I am. And it's awesome. It's just awesome. There's a lot of little positivity this weekend, and I think I just want to enjoy that as a moment,
Yeah, no, like getting vaccinated was maybe like the first like big sigh of relief that I felt in a grip. Like there's just something really, really nice about having, like, by no means does it mean that like everything's over and like look, we've got the vaccine, time to go out, because like I know there's all sorts of stuff about like you can still be a carrier and things like that.
Yes,
but like the idea that we're at that phase where we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel is such a relief.
It's like it's a sign that things are getting better, and like is it like better? Is it like perfect now? No, of course not, but it's one step towards that, and I think that's just really cool, and I think it's really awesome. And dude, there's something in that drug, and it's called happiness.
It's the 5G, baby. You've been implanted with the 5G.
Oh, dude,
and now you're being tracked by the system. Bad news, they'll know every time you take a dookie. Good news, your cell service is going to be so much better. Was it worth it? Was it worth letting the man know when you got your pants down?
I mean, like, fuck, they already know, dude. If you have a phone, they know where you're at. You know what's actually funny, though? My favorite thing is I've heard people call it, it has Satan's microchips in it. That's a legit thing. Yeah, well, you know what was so funny? The first time I heard that, my mind just flashed back to the Little Nas video. I'm like, these are probably the same people who think the Little Nas video is like the end of our society, huh? The one where he gives Satan a lap dance.
Their mind is so like fried and frazzled with like conspiracies and like bad thought juice that like of course they're going to be thinking like, oh, it's got Satan's microchip in it. But here's the thing, if you look at like other pieces of evidence, I see how they get there, right? Because like every person that I know that like has gotten vaccinated, and like the run up to getting vaccinated, people are like, I'm going to kiss all of my homies on the mouth. And if you're one of those like crazy idiot brain dead people that's like, oh, kissing other people's Satan's work, then yeah, you're gonna be like kissing the homies, Satan microchip. They're just together.
I honestly, here's the thing, I don't see the parallel there, but it is fascinating.
Because you've got a good brain.
Well, oh, thank you. I like to think I have a good, not mucked up with fucking just weird right-wing conservatism values. I take that as a compliment. Thank you. No, it's just like it in a weird way. Like I get like fucking wigged out anytime like I'm talking to somebody like that. They're like, these are like the same people that are also like, oh, going to college is indoctrination and shit like that too. Liberal value. And I cringe inside like anytime I hear that, because I'm like, you are gone. You're far gone. But it also in a weird way.
Do this.
in a weird fucking way, it fascinates me, like how people draw comparisons, like exactly like you were saying. It sounded crazy. What you said sounded nonsensical, but there are people that think that way, and there are people who are like, yeah, totally makes sense. Totally makes sense in my brain that you Satan's microchips. When you want to kiss your homie, no kissing homies. We don't enjoy kissing homies here. Must be Satan.
What a sad existence that must be.
Yeah, not kissing your homies. It's a life I don't want to live, AJ. I live to kiss my homies. Especially after this year I've had, dude. I'll kiss all my homies. I don't care. But kissing homies is only what we do part of the time on this podcast. What we do every week is we take your lovely, rancid video game ideas and turn them into the next AAA video game titles. Hopefully, they make us lots of money. So, AJ, do you want to give a first submission, or do you want me to give a first submission?
I'll give the first submission. This one comes from Eddie Feely on Twitter, at EddieF419. Fuck, marry, kill the video game.
Oh, God.
Now,
okay.
This is so very funny to me. Because,
okay.
we've, as we all know, we here at Spiritual Successor love dating games because there's just such a variety to that.
It's our main export, really. I feel like we've done more. Yeah, go ahead.
As far as the dating video games things, I know that one thing that has been explored is the idea of the person you're gonna put the smooch on could also be the killer, right? There's that one video game visual novel that I'm sure a lot of people have thought about, and I don't even know if it's I don't know if it's a compromise thing or what, but Dramatical Murder is a series where you could go out and kiss the boys, but every boy has a bad end where he kills you.
Ooh.
I think
I've never heard of this game, but it already sounds not good. That sounds
that sounds kind of horrible.
Problematic.
What if we could flip it, and we set up a dating game where everybody there's 3 people that you can date, marry, or kill.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that you can fuck, marry, or kill.
Oh, interesting. So are you saying that you, the main character, have 3 dateable options, and there will be guaranteed...
One of them you're gonna marry, one of them you're gonna fuck, and one of them you will have to kill.
Have to murder. Oh my God. Okay.
But depending on what
that's
path
interesting.
you go, it could be justified murder. Maybe one of them's a vampire, or maybe one of them's an evil Frankenstein.
AJ, it is 2021. Just because somebody's a vampire doesn't mean that we kill them. It doesn't work that way anymore. It's early 1900s.
Oh, you're right.
Mindset.
Sorry, I misspoke. Maybe they're a mean vampire.
No, that you find out they're a right-wing conservative, and then that's it. That's strike that for the record. Strike that for the record. I don't. Sorry. I have I spent
You're
a
charged today.
I spent
you
an
must
afternoon.
have had a run-in with a family member on Facebook.
I made the mistake of talking to my family about getting vaccinated, and then getting an earful from all of them of vaccines. You know they rush the vaccine, right? And how do you know it's safe? Or this is just a form of government control. I have really bad family members. None of them listen to this podcast because none of them live in the modern era. So I'm not worried about it. About them hearing this.
None of them have 5G, so they can't download the podcast.
Yeah, you need 5G to stream this podcast. And none of them are gonna touch it. But okay, circling back. So you find out. Yes, you're right. There is one route where it's justified murder, where you find out the person you have to kill is going to kill the partner that you're choosing to marry, or
exactly. It's a real Tom Clancy type justified murder, you know?
Interesting. Could you do I want to throw a little bit more layers onto this. So, what if this was a dating game in phases? So, and what I mean by that is you start out, there are 3 options, and you have to decide fuck, marry, kill the first 3 people. But then after that, there's a part 2 to the game where you are actually given 2 new dateable options, and then it becomes this juicy thing of are you going to continue this relationship, this married relationship, or are you going to have a spicy affair with one of the 2 new people? And then you are prompted with the same decision with these 3 new people. Fuck, marry, kill again.
I'm going to shift it one more time because I love what you're doing here. My one adjustment is that they aren't new characters. It's the same batch of 3. You start the game, you're given a batch of 3 to fuck
a ghost, fuck a ghost, fuck a ghost, fuck a ghost.
The
Is that what you're
second, no, the first. Well, maybe one of them's a ghost. You're gonna have a lot
because you're gonna kill
the
AJ.
ghost
What the
is going to be a
section?
problem when
The first
you
section
hit the
ends with
third
one of them
act.
dying.
No. I'm proposing that you were given the three interests. You can fuck one. You go to the second phase of the game.
Can you do that
Chapter
again? Wait,
one, done.
Can you give that to me again? The connection delayed a little bit.
Yeah. You can fuck the first in the first phase.
Somebody need to take that audio clip and just have. I can have that as a time. Anytime you text me,
That's
I just
gonna
have
be my
you say
text. So the first phase, the first chapter of the game, right? The game will be broken down into 3 chunks, just like the hit video game Dragon Age 2, drawing a lot of inspiration from that one. There will be journalists going crazy about how much this game reminds them of Dragon Age 2. So chapter 1, you choose which one of the 3 interests you want to fuck. Chapter 2, you choose which one of the 3 interests that you want to marry. It could be the same one, could be one of the other ones. Who's to say? The third chapter, you get put into one of 3 dire situations where you must choose one to kill.
Okay.
And then you get credits.
Okay. Well. Okay. So I'm a little bit. Oh. Okay. So you're suggesting the
What's to be confused? Chapter 1, fuck. Chapter 2, marry. Chapter 3, kill.
I don't know, because it's like I think it all hangs on that one decision at the end. I think it all should culminate into one decision, not necessarily phases, because then, like, what happens when... Also, I feel like the person that you decide to fuck could also be the same person that you marry or kill, because it's a dating game. You're going to go on dates with them.
Yeah, you could choose one of the 3 of them at each one of these chapter closing decisions.
I think it should all culminate into one big decision at the end, where it's all like all of the drama culminates into this climax. Of fucking marrying and killing all in like within one night or whatever. And then you could go the thing where it's like maybe you're given the same batch of characters again, and this could be the sequel where it's like Fuck, Marry 2, where it's the characters are like it's the same characters but they're older. This is like maybe 5 years into their marriage, and it's not that they're unhappy, but it's like, you know, like there's this juicy proposition of an affair with an ectoplasmic being from the afterlife. You know, like I think there's some juiciness in that.
You know what the problem with it is?
Yeah, what's up? There's not enough fucking. Is that what you're gonna say?
The problem, you know what? That isn't the wording I was going to go with, but you're right. There isn't enough fucking in one run. So might I propose to you this: a video game titled Fuck, Marry, Kill. 3 protagonists.
Yes.
And what we all love in video games these days is the concept of a replay, a new game plus, right? That's what made Undertale such a hit. That's what made me play Infamous, all of the Infamous games, at least 2 times over. So I'm going to propose a video game where, like, we love Undertale because there's the peace run and the murder run. What if we did a dating game where there was the peace run, the horny run, and the murder run? Where you could just go all 3 on one run.
I can picture it now, an IGN article of like a guide through of the horny run of Fuck, Marry, Kill. Just like all the beats you need to hit. Okay, you're onto something here. Can I throw another curveball at you, just to see if the stew work out? We got some
Why
cooking.
don't you go ahead and pitch this curveball at me, and I will decide whether I hit it and knock it out of the park, or whether I just walk away from this and make you give me another submission from the bucket.
You mentioned 3 protagonists, and I don't know if you meant like in the sense of there are 3 player characters or there are
3 love interests was the intention.
But that triggered something into me. Is there a way you can do this as like a Monster Prom sort of vibe, where it is a multiplayer game where 3 characters? Because no, here's the thing: if Destiny's taught us anything, games with 3 characters in it are fucking hot right now. So you, me, and our buddy Andrew are playing this game, Fuck, Marry, Kill, and each one of us has to figure out which route we're taking. Like, you take the fuck route because you're a horny boy. I'll take the murder route because I'm like, I don't know, I like horror. And Andrew is a soft, sensitive man, I think, and we'll take the marry route. Um, and so you would.
Okay, wait. If we're going with the competitive or like the multiplayer aspect, I want to drop it back to the system where you don't get, if it's multiplayer, you don't get to choose to just do like a all fuck, all marry, all kill. If it's multiplayer, you are all given the same batch of characters. Every player must fuck one, marry one, kill one. Does this propose the idea that you could KS and kill steal somebody? Yes, absolutely. But not just kill stealing because you're both trying to kill the same person, but kill stealing because I see Blake, Blake getting a little bit flirty with someone. Kablah! No points for Blake.
Oh, so it's like in a way it's like a hidden objective kind of game of like are you trying to
It doesn't even have to be a hidden objective thing. It is more of just like you are able to stop your friends from dating by killing their date.
Okay, but here's the thing. You can't just do it outright.
But instead of you all being monsters that go into the school, you're monster hunters. You're like 3 different monster hunters going to the monster prom, and you're going to do a murder.
Oh my god. Okay.
But also maybe fall in love and maybe get it on.
So, okay, the point if we really distill this game down to a basic thing, it's you are trying to achieve your end goal of marrying, fucking, or killing somebody.
And killing.
And
all
trying
three. You
not
need all three because each one is 1 point.
Yeah. And trying not to let the other players know what your end goal is. So it's
or
like,
at least making sure that they don't stop you from it.
Yeah,
because I think the mind games aspects of it are so good, right? If I could go into a game saying like, I don't know how, but I'm going to kill that ghost girl.
Mm-hmm. So could you do a thing then? Is there like mini games, like competitive mini games, like I'm picturing like Honey Pop, but like you and I are all competing like on the same board to get matches or something. And depending on how well you do, that's the one that gets to make the decision in that moment. So like say you're trying to kill the person I'm falling in love with. There's some vampire girl that I have like the hots for, and you want to off them. Then it comes down to this like Bejeweled-esque game, or we can come up with some other like mini game, like Mario Party-esque mini games, where that would actually be really fun because it's like each game that would max up the replayability. Is like the mini game is not always the same because like Honey Pop, it's always Bejeweled, but this
it's always
like
Bejeweled. But in a game where like a monster prom with a bunch of mini games, different mini games with different variables for different dates and different locations, and in order to and a more competitive aspect because you were trying to kill people. I love this.
Yes.
I'm putting a pin in Monster Prom 3 kill.
Well, this doesn't need to be Monster Prom, I don't think. Like this, I think this could be our own individual IP. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I mean, like it all depends. It all depends. All right, this one comes to us on Twitter from April Showers. Bring at Spirit. Oh wait, they changed their name. Hold on. Let me go to Twitter so I can get this because I guess they're calling us out for something.
Good.
Okay, hold on.
I refuse to admit that I was incorrect, though.
Here we go. April Showers bring at Spiritual Suck fumbling my name again at Dust in Your Eyes. Suggest. Thanks for calling us out. Fucking Christ. Thanks, Fred.
That's very good.
They suggest Blood and Chrome. What if I was going to say Transformers, but that's not how you say that. What if Transformers were also vampires? AJ, I realized something the other day. I don't think you and I have made a Transformers game since our like Pokemon-esque Transformers game like 2 years ago. And the moment I saw that, I'm like, let's fucking talk Transformers again, because Transformers are cool as fuck. So Blood and Chrome.
They could be cooler though.
It could be cooler. They could be vampires. So
they could be vampires.
I'm trying to figure out, what is this game? Is this because Transformers is all about like saving the world from evil Transformers, the Decepticons, or planet eating or planet destroying gargantuan Transformers. It's all about saving the world. Is there a way you can kind of bring that down? Because when I think vampires, I think of like RPGs like Vampire the Masquerade, where it's like these social climbing sort of just tense conversational sort of like and smoky rooms where everybody's sexy.
Yeah, it's a battle of scale, right? Like,
yeah.
Decepticon King. I totally forgot his name. Please help. Who's the evil
Megatron?
Decepticon? Thank you. when like Megatron's out for world domination, but you never heard of
Uh-huh.
a vampire wanting world domination. That's so
Mhm.
big. Vampires are
Mhm.
much more small. Vampires are like, I want to own a county. If I could just have like a county, that'd be grand.
I never thought about that before. I guess vampires are very like when you think vampires, you think of like these beings that are never satisfied, but also at the same time they're like, yeah, I just have my castle and that's all I need. I have castle
Yeah,
in this small
vampires
town I
sit down
roll
and they
over.
say, "God, I just want to be a count," right? Like everyone knows
Yeah.
that the picture perfect like vampire is Count Dracula, the
Uh-huh,
owner of a
uh-huh,
county. That's it.
uh-huh.
Small,
Like fuck,
relatively
even like
medium-sized dreams.
even like the Vampire King from the freaking what's that one movie where it's the dude's like half vampire, half lichen, and you have
Daywalker?
no, not
Oh,
Daywalker. It's
oh,
the
vampire
it's
and lichen. That's Underworld.
Underworld. Yes, 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 yes. So even like the strongest vampire in that world was just like, I just want to protect my brother. That's all I really give a shit about.
That
Like
and
I
even
feast.
even like the most highest hailed vampires in that world were like, ooh, ruling the whole vampire society on my own?
Nah,
No, I think
we just
actually
want our
I'm
own
going to create a
space.
giant jar where I will rotate out who's in charge. I'm going to rule for like 3 years, then I'm going to go get in the big jar and you can pull out one of the other 3 leaders to rule for a couple of years. Cuz
So
ruling
can
all
we?
of this sounds like so
Uh-huh.
much work. Can I please have a county? I don't
So
even
can
get to be
we
called
try
count
and
here.
so can we try and do a thing where it's a world domination Transformers game that is about because okay, let's analyze it. Why are they conquering the world? The first thing that stands out to me is like anything with vampires is like, okay, this plan will result in the world being eternally night so they can
I think
reign
before we
supreme
can
or
even
whatever.
think about goals for our Decepticons, because of course the
Mhm.
Decepticons want world domination, that's what Transformers want, and
Uh-huh,
that's
uh-huh.
just totally on like a normal vampire because they're just naturally lazy and they just
Mhm.
want a county.
Mhm.
What is a vampire? What is a vampire transformer drink? Is it blood or is it car juice?
I think it's if I remember correctly, I think you know who would actually be really good at helping is our friend Rin who just worships fucking
We do have
Transformers
friends
comic.
that are into vampires. You know
So
what? But what are
but
we thinking?
here's the thing because if I remember correctly, they have this thing called the spark in them. And I don't know if I feel like it's just electricity that flows through their body like blood. So these are vampires that drink electricity is what I'm getting at. So like
So it's
just
just
think
a
of like light.
transformer that drinks on other transformers?
That's yeah, I
That's
feel like
lame. That's lame. You know that's lame, right?
what are you talking about? Like if you're trying to okay, I don't know. Like I feel like I don't know a whole lot about Transformers, but one thing I hear a lot about is like just the innate eroticism with Transformers. Like there's always sexual tension between
Well, in
Starscream
the
and
comics,
Megatron.
for sure.
Yeah,
But you're
so
not interested at all in the idea of a giant car robot trying to drink people blood?
okay, you're onto something there. Okay,
I want
okay.
you to imagine Optimus Prime and like his cool faceplate thing, but also it opens up and reveals tiny fangs. Like that's just so silly to me.
You're suggesting that he has tiny fangs because it adapted to match just tiny human necks. So there's just this
Yes.
big fucking hulking thing. Okay, that's
I want
pretty
you to
adorable.
imagine I want you to imagine a helicopter, but because the helicopter is also a vampire, it's never out during the daytime, and two,
Uh-huh.
it has 2 tiny fangs on the front of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So
When
I
they're
like
in
that.
car mode, the fangs are comically large, like when you see like the little like punch buggies with fangs that people do sometimes.
Oh
But
yeah,
then
yeah,
when
yeah,
they're
yeah.
in robot mode, they're tiny fangs
Those are
because
pretty.
they're
No,
built to.
you actually see the fangs on their breastplate. Like the fangs are there. They're just not functional. They're just it's like they're pieces of their collar or something. Something stupid. Like wait, that seems counterproductive to getting in on that human blood. Okay, so let me pitch you on a game here. So this is a game about world domination. What if we took the Far Cry sort of gameplay where you have to go to select areas to gain control over bigger amounts of land? So like in Far Cry
Mhm.
3, if I remember correctly, it was like radio towers or something like
Yeah,
that. And then
Assassin's Creed, the territory system that we've seen in so many open world games.
so could you do that on a world level where it's like your transformer needs to go to different continents to control different parts of the world, and each continent would have its like own sub open world where you can like drive around, because you're transformers, you got to be able to drive around and go across different cities. So it's like, it's, if you take, actually perfect, here's the perfect idea. Actually, you haven't played it, but Metro Exodus is a limited open world system where like each section of the game gives you access to really in-depth open worlds that have completely different biomes, weather, different like mechanics at play, and different weapons associated with them. So could you do a game that is limited open world? So like you start the game in New York and you take over New York, and then you go to Shanghai, and then you go to the UK, or you go to Thailand, or just different places across the world that have different like driving conditions, different transformers are defending them.
I love this. Yeah.
So it's like, because you're like in any driving game, you know, like you look at like a driving game trailer, like what's the thing they always talk about? It's like beautiful locations to see on your drive, and I want to kind of capture that energy as well. But you're also Transformers, so you're gonna get into Transformer battles in the dead of night, because I'm imagining, like, actually, you know, it'd be really fucking cool, AJ, if we tried this. This is from the perspective, you play like the Autobots, but the Autobots have all been turned into vampires and are evil, and the people defending the planet are the Decepticons, because they're like, okay, I don't know why they're
because the Autobots are running around slurping up all the human beings, and the Decepticons are like, no, wait, we need those people for labor.
To rule. Yeah, there will be nobody to rule, and if we don't, you know, and obvious, what I'm thinking would be kind of cool is, when you you conquer a continent or city when you convert the Decepticon running that city. So you can like indoctrinate Decepticons by turning them into vampires, and that's how you control that city. And there's like a bunch of little missions to do. You have to do like, maybe there are certain missions in every city that you have to do to bring out the Decepticon to you. So like you have to destroy the fuel things there. You have to like slurp up X amount of humans in every area to get the attention of the Decepticon running that area. And then when they come out, you can
so
go
who's the vampires? The Decepticons or the Autobots?
The Autobots. I'm thinking it would be kind of...
So are we playing as the Decepticons?
We are playing as the Autobots, because I want to play it from the evil people's perspective. So you're like...
Okay.
Yeah, you know, like in the new movie, I haven't watched Transformers in a long time, but like in the new movie, Optimus Prime gets converted to evil for a little bit, right? Like he gets mind controlled or something.
Abducted by an alien and gets a cool face tattoo and gets mean after that.
Okay, so picture that, but for all of the Autobots, like all of them have been infected with the vampirism
with cool face tattoos, spark. And they all have little fangs on the front of their car modes.
Yeah. And fucking Bumblebee turns into a blood red, like he goes from like.
I have a question about the vampire powers of a giant transformer.
Yeah.
As we all know, all vampires can turn into bats. They can just kind of explode into a bunch of tiny bats. Can the Transformer robots do that?
For aesthetic reasons, I think it'd be pretty cool. Like, but we do it this way. It's rather
what do
than
they burst into.
Picture this. So it's Transformers. So every little piece of them. I picture this like, you remember how Iron Giant at the end of the movie, he blows up. Spoilers for like a 30-year-old movie. But all of his pieces are still like, they can still move on their own. So a Transformer that can basically disassemble itself, and each piece can become like its own little bat that flies as a swarm or moves on the ground as a swarm or something like that.
I want to propose to you this. I don't think that they should turn into bats.
Okay. What do you think? They just turn into smaller cars?
I think that they can explode and turn into tiny RC cars. Yes, exactly. You're in my space. You understand. Blake, thank you. See, it was there. You and I both knew it. We just weren't brave enough to say it. But I am.
That terrifies me, because you know why? Because like the opening of this game is just like these people walking on the street, and it's like it's midnight. You know, the street's lit by gas lamp or whatever, or sodium, and then you just hear a bunch
million
of
little RC cars come racing down the roads.
Like those, just that, like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's that torque that only RC cars have, like where it's just like that really like sharp electronic sound of And it's just like 1,000 of those just running up the street, and people are like,
And I love
what's
that because it has a similar sound as the noise that bats make when when vampires explode into a bunch of tiny
Oh,
bats. So like
yeah,
the
yeah,
sound
yeah.
effect works.
And picture, dude, that's gonna be so fucking crazy because like it's like in The Mummy where like all the scarab beetles cover a person and they just like evaporate that person. It's exactly that, but with RC cars where they just cover up, they coat a person, and then that person is just nothing but bone afterward. Or actually, no, like the RC trucks leave, and it's just like all their skin becomes taut against their bone, like they've just been sucked dry of all liquid. God, that's crazy. That's awesome. I love this.
I'm gonna
So
put a
what?
pin in it.
Okay. Blood and Chrome. All right, AJ, give me a game.
This comes from Mop, probably Callum Philpott. A competitive fan wiki game where you and a friend or enemy have 1 hour to make a bunch of bad fan wiki articles for the thing people are fans of. Frogs, Star Trek, Mario, etc. A hyper-complex AI judges whether or not it belongs on the wiki.
Okay. How
So
about
the goal is that you get to sit down and let's take a fandom that you and I are both a part of.
well, can I combine this with another submission because I think they would gel well. Can I pitch you on something and
Yeah,
we can see if it
let me
combines?
hear what you've got.
Okay, so this one comes to us on Reddit from Grey Zephyr 87, a mobile game that integrates Twitter trends into daily procedurally generated content. No one is happy about it. So the wiki articles are based off of what's trending on Twitter in that exact moment.
I got it. I have the game. So the
Go ahead,
goal
go ahead.
is that you have to look at the trending tab for Twitter or something. You'll see a bunch of stuff. We can try this right now, right? Let me just go to the trending tab on twitter.com. Dozens of Joshes battle in a field to determine the one true Josh. This is perfect. So
Oh my
this
God,
is the
that's
way
awesome.
the game operates. You look at the trending tab on Twitter, you see this. You then have to say, okay, this is a thing. I now have to write up a wiki article so that it can go onto a fandom wiki page. And and if I can get this tied into the game or into the wiki to the point that the AI is unable to discern whether or not it's fact or true, I win. So if I'm given the prompt, Battle of Joshes, my immediate brain, I'm thinking Drake and Josh. Boom. I know the fandom I'm going to attack. I'm going to write up like a mock wiki page article about the episode that definitely exists that I'm creating now in my brain. The AI doesn't know it exists. The AI is going to see what I give it. But I'm going to be like, oh, you guys didn't know about season 5, episode 3 of Drake and Josh, where Josh enters a contest of a battle of all the Joshes to prove that he's the most handsome Josh. And I'm going to just go on a tirade. I have to start writing up everything. Trivia.
See,
This is the only
I
episode
love-
where you see Josh wearing sandals. Trivia,
see,
blah,
you know
blah, blah.
what's-
This is the
well, what's
only
cool about
in this
this, though-
episode. You hear the 5th time that Drake admits that he could absolutely body Josh in any fight ever.
See,
A fact
what's cool,
undisputed in this episode because Josh is actually facing his own inner turmoils and realizing that he's not that powerful of a competitor. Like
you're
this,
really going
I'm
off
writing
here.
up this whole episode.
It is
the goal.
AJ, I
then
think
is
you'd
to
like
see,
be really good at this game.
I just, you know what? I just got a good prompt.
But no. The reason I like this game too is because the give and take of this is you're trying to be as you're trying to get as much information out there as possible, but the more descriptive you get in it, the more opportunity there is for Wikipedia to flag it, being like, hey, that piece of information contradicts with this information. Be like, say, let's, for example, going off of what you said, the episode Battle of the Joshes came out December 20th, 2010, and then it compares to the actual Drake and Josh Wikipedia, be like, no, this episode came out on that date. That doesn't make sense, and then it flags it. So you have to be like, you have to be descriptive, but not
will
too
have
descriptive.
special keywords that they know, right? Like, of course, like I'm a master at this game, so I'm always going to list in parentheses on aired. So like the AI will always be like, okay, so it could exist. I'm also going to make sure I don't put any dates or hard plot points, but I will put in a good amount of trivia and character tie-ins. If I remembered the names of any character from Drake and Josh other than Drake or Josh, I would definitely list trivia in there about this, right? Oh, in this episode, the mean science girlfriend that Drake has, like, bullies him again.
Oh my
Like,
God,
that's
I
going in
forgot
the
about
trivia.
Oh my God. Dude, like now I want to drink it, Josh. I forgot how much I like that show. But yes. So how is this something where you have all day to do it, and then at like 6 p.m. the server closes and points are tallied, like all it's and then you're just shown a leaderboard at the end of it of like who's the highest scoring thing on the different Twitter subjects of the day, because there's multiple because multiple things trend on Twitter
Blake,
throughout the
I'm
day.
so sorry to stop you, but this is breaking news that I'm authentically excited about, and I need to tell you, Madoka is trending right now because we are getting another Madoka Magica movie.
Yes, I saw, and I wasn't like at the moment I saw that.
You weren't gonna tell me?
Well, because I'm like we're in work mode right now. We're trying to like do. Okay, how about this?
Sorry, that's just the greatest thing I could have discovered right now during this. This only could have happened now while looking at the trending page.
Okay, now that you open the Pandora's box, let's talk about Madoka Magica. What the fuck are they gonna do? I feel like the series actually. Well, it was vague, but also
spoilers, heavy spoilers. So heads up, everybody. Skip ahead. I guess I'll list a time code for when it's safe again.
We don't need it. We don't need to talk about the ending. We don't need to talk about the ending. All I know is that. Or all my opinion is that the ending
at the end of that movie, one person knew what was going on or suspected that things are going on, and if they continue that thread, it will be the most heartbreaking thing in the world if that character is the one that decides that things need to be changing. You
think they're okay?
I have a lot of thoughts about Madoka Magica. How's it going? Welcome to Spiritual Successor.
Can I actually? I don't think I've told this story on the podcast, but it's actually one of my fondest memories I have with you. The first time you and I hung out, we watched Madoka Magica together, and this was also the same day where, because you had a weird roommate that would take all of your like Tupperware and shit. That's the day that you and I had a giant fucking mac and cheese trough that we both ate from.
Yeah, my roommates all moved. It was at the end of our freshman year of college. All of my roommates had moved out except me, so they had taken all of the Tupperware. Well, no, they weren't even moved out yet. They just packed it all up and wouldn't let anyone use it. So they packed up all of the Tupperware and they packed up all of the bowls, and so I cooked mac and cheese in a pot, and then I had spoons still. So we just ate out of the pot. It was incredible.
Watched Madoka Magica, and I fucking lost my shit because crazy things happen at that show. Like, okay, no spoilers. Watch till episode 3, and then you will be hooked to that show. Because I was like,
big ups to Madoka Magica for subverting what magical girl anime is so fucking hard that now, like, a magical girl anime that is just cutesy magical girl shit feels like a subversion. Like, we're at a point now where, like, most magical girl stuff gets so bent out of whack and goes south for people that if you just give me, like, hey, anyway, here's a Mew Mew power. It's just a cute magical girl anime. I'll be all like,
oh, like I feel like
there's some, ooh, just a nice fun little thing.
Oh, they're taking it back to its roots. Oh my god, no,
classic magical girl stuff.
Well, I feel like it's Madoka Magica for comparison. It had as much of an impact on the industry.
Bad.
Yeah, well, moreover, I think it had just as much of an impact on the magical girl genre as like Evangelion had on the mech genre. It was that fucking impactful, and everything past that really changed what people's expectations were of something like that. Because Madoka Magica walks, so the Yuki Yuna is a hero could fucking run. Like that's another tragic series. But AJ, we're talking about magical girls here. Hey, welcome to Spiritual Successor, where we talk about all things magical girls.
Yeah, sorry. What were you going on about before I got into magical girl brain rot?
I have no fucking clue. All I know now is like I'm thinking about Best Girl from Madoka Magica, where she could just pull rifles from space and time and just fire them one shot. God, that fight scene's so good, where she just like throws all the rifles into the ground and is doing this fucking dance where she just pulls a rifle, fires it, and then grabs another one from the ground like it's a sword.
It's dope.
Oh, it's so fucking dope. It's so good. It's so good. Watch God damn, that series is so damn good.
Madoka Magica, please.
It's so good. It's so good. Like like I said, stick with us here, because like first 2 episodes, it's cutesy. It feels great. It's just a bunch of girls doing just girl things eating sandwiches talking about cats, and then
It's
shit
just
goes
cute
crazy.
girls doing cute shit and nothing goes wrong.
Okay. Is it my turn to give a game?
Yeah, give me another
I think,
video game. I love our Drake and Josh wiki article game where the whole idea is to try to sneak in episodes or sneak in things from the trending tab into fandom wikis.
so. This one comes to us from Fish Harlan at Fish Harland on Twitter. Died and came back as a cowboy. I call that reincarnation. Isekai, motherfucker. So, I'm trying to figure out, is there a world like we could do an isekai where it's a person who knows nothing about cowboy culture and gets just teleported back into the Old West, and or either time travel to the Old West, or this is a alternate dimension where, like how Fallout is a world where nothing really moved past like 1950s 1960s culture. Is this a world where nothing moved past like Wild West culture? So it's like there's mining going. Is it like a futuristic sort of thing, or is this like legitimately technology stopped at the pickaxe and the revolver? It's an isekai, but it's also a game.
So, yeah, where's the game here? This idea of somebody being reincarnated and put into into the ye old cowboy west.
Yeah, this is more
Is
of
it
a
like a
world rather than
normal
a
ye old
game.
cowboy west, or is it like a Wild Arms 3 ye old cowboy west, where it's like, yeah, it's all old school cowboy era, but also there's summons and magical guns?
Could you do a thing? Because I know you and I have talked about this for a little bit now. Is there a way you can do a monster hunting game in the Wild West? Because like, let me circle back.
What do you mean? Of course, there's guns in Monster Hunter.
In Red Dead Redemption 2, like the big thing that they, like a selling point for the game, was that you can go on hunts and like get animals, take skin the animal, take the meat, whatever, and sell those resources. Is there a way we can do an isekai where they get sent into fantasy Wild West, and to make a living they need to hunt monsters and collect resources and bring it back to whatever town they're traveling? Or is this a road movie where they are going from town to town, but in between each town they need to do a hunt that, depending on how well they do the hunt, is how far they get on their road thing. And at the end of the road is like a portal to get back to their time. Or
hey, isn't this
Samurai
just Ni no
Jackson.
Kuni?
I don't know what Ni no Kuni is. I know the name, I've just never played the game. Or the
It's a
anime.
video game that looks kind of like a Studio Ghibli thing, and I think the very first in Ni no Kuni 2, one of your characters is like a prince of the land, and the secondary main character is some like bodyguard for the president that got isekai'd there.
Bodyguard for the president. Like, just wait, it's just some CIA dude, just like,
Yeah,
I don't know why I'm here.
and he kind of is like, oh, a prince, my son now. And they go on a road trip adventure. I think that's what Ni no Kuni 2 is.
What if, let me throw another curveball at you. What if this is a 2-player game where you are like a couple, let's say, that got teleported and isekai'd together? One of you is an actual person with like a gunslinger, a cowboy, whatever, and the other one is their gun. So it's this relationship sort of game where like one player is playing the gun. I don't know how we would like mechanically do that just yet. And then the other person is like the character that's walking and moving about and interacting with people. So is there something there? Because like one market I really love, but I don't see it getting a whole lot of love right now, is like games like Haven, where it's a game that needs to be played with 2 people because it's about a relationship. It's about, you are using the.
Is Haven a co-op game?
Yeah, Haven's a co-op game. Huh. It's like, they market it as like meant to be played with your partner, like you're just somebody you're dating, and I think that's so fucking cool. I think that's wonderful because it's meant to be like you watch this couple go through this struggle, and it represents a mirror of like your own relationship, like why the players at the table or players at the console are like, why they're dating, what their communication looks like. And I think that's a really cool, like, I think that's the power of video games, right? But what if we did that where one character has to play their weapon, or maybe Soul Eater style, where they can turn into that cowboy's weapon. Like, and they can turn it like, and as the game goes on, they can turn into better and better weapons. Like, to start off as a rifle, like a cattleman revolver, and then they turn to a rifle, and then they turn into some shotgun or something like that.
So
And then
an
it just
asymmetric co-op game where one person plays the game and the other one is all of the gear maintenance and tactic maintenance and like potions and things like that.
Yes, and they are also the ones that pull the trigger. It's like one person aims, the other one pulls the trigger. So it just it requires this constant communication of, you know, maybe in between, like because I don't know if this would work as like like a third person sort of shooter like Red Dead. What if it's something like a bullet hell sort of game, like like Enter the Gungeon or Hyperlight Drifter?
I think if you do that, then the person that is the gun gets to aim as well, and it feels a little bit more like if you were playing Halo, the old school Halo maps where like one person had to take the gunner seat while the other one drove the car.
Yeah, that's a great way of thinking about it. So one person controls all of the movement and all of the platforming while the other person is their gun. Actually, you know, a good way of thinking about it, you know, like in Nier, where you have that little turret that's your gun. Like that's one person controls that turret, so to speak, and the other person is like 2B, the one moving about and dodging bullets and keeping them alive.
I'm very into this now.
So it's like, and so the journey is you're trying to go from town to town to town, like Roland from the Dark Tower series. Like you're going from town to town, experience to experience to get to this mystical structure that will solve all of your problems or get you home or, you know, give you the answers that you're looking for. In between towns, are you fighting like fantastical monsters? Are you just, or is it like
I think that if it's a game that is first and foremost like about this co-op cycle between platformer and or like a action, the co-op system is that one person is playing the running, the jumping, the leaping, and the other one is the shooter, then I think it makes most sense for this to be a linear game where you're just going from town to town. Maybe you meet like it's each town would have a boss, probably like each town would have a boss, and the goal is just moving from one point to the other. I don't think there's a lot of like gear maintenance, and I don't think there's a lot of like world exploration. I think it's a pretty linear experience of you two just going on this journey.
So it's like, hey, here's the town, but to get to the next one, you got to cross this little like wasteland thing where it's
maybe
just like
each
a lot
town
of the
will have a puzzle that you can do before a boss. So the rinse and repeat thing would be action platformer where you have to take on like a bunch of enemies and do a bunch of platforming. Then you do with a town where there's going to be a puzzle in the town where you have to run around and find the right things to shoot, drag, pull, and push. And then you would go into the boss fight with the sheriff in town.
Yeah.
And then you would move on to the next journey section, puzzle section, boss section.
You get to like an abandoned town that's like filled with ghosts that all want to move on, but there's some necromancer keeping them grounded there for their power, and you got to kill the necromancer. And with every boss, you get a new ability like a double dash or time slows or something.
Every boss would give each player a new ability. I think that's something that would be really important with a game like this is we need to make sure that it feels like a game that you should have two players for rather than a game that just feels like it has two people playing it. I think the best way to kind of play with that is by giving a lot of different movement tools and a lot of different action tools to each player. I think a good point of example would be Ghost of Tsushima had so many toys for the player to play with that it became a bit overwhelming between the stealth mechanics, the action mechanics, the combat stances, the 8 different ranged weapon tools. If we could just kind of divide that general concept in half. So the player that is running around as the platformer, they're going to get things like dodges, teleportations, sprint speeds, stances, things like that. Whereas the person that places the gun will get different guns, the ability to pull or push enemies or items,
more ammunition, more different. You know, it'd be kind of cool too.
Perhaps
is that,
a grappling hook.
Well, how about this? Like you have different weapons, different ammunition for those and different like different elemental or different power ammunition. Like, hey, you can do bouncy ammunition, but that has like an electrical ability, a bouncy ammunition that has a fire ability or a gravitational ability, like, or it
And those
tracks
different
people.
elements
Yeah.
can be used to block different bullets in these bullet hell sections. Because you propose the
Yeah,
idea that being an action
yeah.
platformer, I can't imagine. And you mentioned Nier as a touchstone. So if there's big bullet hell sections, I think that giving one player the ability to adapt and adjust to bullet hells and being like, oh, there's a bunch of red orbs coming here, so I'm going to shoot those with the red so that those will be disintegrated and we only have to worry about this color now.
Well, you know, that might actually be something you give to the platforming character. Is remember that one game, Love in a Dangerous Space Time, where like each person controls, like one person controls the guns, one person controls the shields or whatever. So the person controlling the movement also has a shield that they can rotate around them. So they're in charge of like maneuvering and defending while they're in a bullet hell scene, while the person that's playing the gun is in charge of doing all the attacking damage rather than also focusing on how to cover them. They're like, it's very like each person falls into a very specific role. One is movement and defense. The other one is attacking and, getting rid of enemies. So is that something you're kind of thinking? Like you can get, like maybe they get like an actual physical shield, like a lead shield or something, like Captain America style, where they can like rotate it around themselves to bounce certain bullets off. But like you said, the shield needs to have a certain element tied to it to block certain bullets that they can like cycle using a D-pad or something.
I've got one more thing I'd like to add to this game.
Okay.
How familiar are you with Kingdom Hearts 3 Dream Drop Distance? Not Kingdom Hearts 3, Kingdom Hearts 3DS.
I am not familiar with any of Kingdom Hearts. All I know is that Final Fantasy characters show up, and I like Aerith. She's cute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aerith is in Kingdom Hearts. One of them, I think, for a brief time. Anyway, the idea of Dream Drop Distance I want to propose because Dream Drop had two protagonists, Sora and Riku. But very early on in the game, it introduced a timer system. Essentially, you would play the game as one of the characters until the timer hit 0, and then the game would save and force you to swap to the other protagonist.
That's cool. That's really cool.
So what if we have this game where as you're running through, anytime like there's a timer constantly running, and once the timer hits 0, the gun and the human swap. So you can't run through the whole game with me always being the... Like, if you and I were to be playing it, I can't be the gun the whole time. The timer's going to go off at some point, and we're going to swap.
Yeah, no, I like this. It's like... I like that because it plays into this thing of, like, your souls are kind of disembodied, and they can be randomly put into things, or, like, shifted. And that's why you're isekai'd here. It's like your soul got isekai'd or something. But you also mentioned something that was actually really cool to me, was... the idea that there's, you said two protagonists, but that makes me think, okay, maybe there are two antagonists to this game. And what better antagonist, if we're doing a game about relationships or whatever, what if this game is about like old flames and the two antagonists are like two exes of our player characters? And maybe it's like, it could be a sort of a toxic thing. This is an allegory about, overcoming like previously bad relationships and using the new ones to heal, or using the new ones to grow past them. And maybe those are the antagonists of this game, and they are also like soul swapped into some big gunslinger and a weapon or something like that. Is that like fun? Yeah, just like I don't know that provides any like gameplay shit, but like I think just I love. Not doing this podcast is interesting because like there are certain games where we're like, oh, this would be just funny to look at, but then there are also other games where I'm like, it's just fun to think of the story and think of like why things are happening the way they're happening, and just it's fun to play with the narrative a little bit. But we're at 55 minutes, so we need to pick a nug. And I'm kind of leaning. I just because it's fucking crazy is what was the first game you pitched? It was the
Fuck, Marry, Kill? The competitive monster dating and killing game?
Yeah, that game's pretty fucking wild. And I could very easily picture it like just making you hate your friends a little bit.
Yes,
Like,
I'm absolutely obsessed with the idea of like, because like when you and I first heard about Monster Prom, we still haven't been able to sit down and play it yet. But when you and I
I
first
have
heard
no
about it,
idea. Yeah.
you and I were like, here's the thing that's going to happen in Monster Prom is that you and me are going to compete to see which one of us can get the date with X character 1st.
The very real quick, because I don't know the cast too well, but who's the girl you have a crush on in Monster Prom?
Now, see, I've played it, so my thought has changed. Is the
Oh,
thing.
interesting. Oh,
When I
okay.
first saw all the characters, I was like, Ghost Girl. Hell yeah, let's party on, Ghost Girl. But then I realized that the Ghost Girl has a lot of. She's got problems. She's got some.
You're talking about Polly Geist, right?
Yeah, she's got maybe a few too many dependencies, if you know what I'm saying. Maybe a little bit too kind of free floaty with just cocaine, booze.
Okay, so I'm gonna take a wild guess. You are into Zoe, because
Which
she's
one
like
is Zoe?
that's the one with the purple like tentacle hair.
Oh, that's the DLC character. I think.
Oh, that's the DLC. Oh, okay, so base Miranda Vanderbilt then, the fish lady.
Yep, the fish lady's a cutie.
All right, that's it. Our friendship's over, dude. We have crushes on the same girl. Like, we're gonna have to compete for her love.
That makes sense. But except in this game, dude, I could sit down with this game and I could see that purple vampire guy and I could be like, man, your vibes are rancid, purple vampire man. I'm going to just get you.
Actually, you know what would be kind of cool too? What if you set it up to where you can actually make somebody go on a date with a person that they don't like? So it'll be like, I want to go out on a date with Miranda, but yours like, nope, that's the girl I want to marry. And then you'd like maybe during the mini game of some kind, you can pick what happens as a result. Be like, oh, there's a phone mix up, and guess what? You're going out on a date with Liam, and he's a boring jerk.
Liam's a boring jerk, but you could get that foot in if you want. I do need to just like, I need you to hold off on this character though, because I will be marrying them.
Okay. That's I like where this is going. In terms of two things. Is there any boss fights in this? I don't think so. We need to talk a little bit more about boss fights. I know that we gotta figure some stuff out for that on the podcast, but that's a tale for another time. Is this just called Fuck, Marry, Kill? Fuck, Marry, Kill, Monster Prom, Fuck, Marry, Kill.
I'm interested in Fuck, Marry, Kill. My problem is that I wonder that there's not enough of a monster vibe in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Could you do something like Phantasm, Fuck, Marry, Kill? Phantasm, Fuck, Marry,
I
Kill.
wonder if we could just like kind of like two birds with one stone. We saw that it's a game that people should be replaying and also a game with monsters by doing Fuck, Marry, Kill again.
Oh, again. That feels like a sequel. Like
It
very
does
much
feel like a sequel,
but
but
I
that's
like that
fine.
energy though, because it's like, because it makes me think of like, oh, is this a series? Is this something that's like, is this something that's existed for a while and I should have known about it? I like it. So Fuck, Marry, Kill, comma again, or period again.
Yeah, I think period again. We mentioned earlier the idea of the mini games. Do we want to expand on those and maybe propose a couple different things, or do we want to kind of commit to the idea that this is a party game wherein every time that somebody's on a date or something, you load into a party game style thing?
I think it loads into a party game style thing, but this is what happens and this is what changes. Each run of this game, conversations happen at completely different locations. So like say let's do a story about 20-something-year-olds. So it's like you could have a conversation with them at the job. Or they could be doing they're working at their cafe, or it can happen at the park. Each location has a mini game tied to it. So say you meet up at the coffee shop, it becomes some sort of like diner dash sort of game between all of the people dating, or all of the people playing, and then the winner of that is the one that gets to have the conversation with that person. So it'll be like, oh, here are the dateable people, this is where they usually hang out.
Oh,
and,
that's
yeah.
very good.
So that way, like, the locations dictate the mini game or the type of mini game.
So we go to the coffee shop because like everybody gets a turn, right? Everybody gets a turn to say who they want to go talk to. Then the mini game launches. From there, we get to decide who gets to actually talk to the person by competing in the mini game. So you Blake, you sit down and you say, I want to talk to this person there at the coffee shop. We go to the coffee shop. I kick your butt in the mini game, so I get to talk to the person that you came here with the intent to talk to.
Interesting. Okay. And then I like this because then it's like, how many dates do you think there
and this
are?
is where the bartering happens, right? This is where the real like game of it happens, because now I have the permission to talk to the person. I could be like, hey Blake, I'll let you talk to this person, but the next game you have to sit out. You know what I mean? Like now we start doing the bargaining, the push and the pull of this. The real politics of dating and killing monster people.
Interesting. Okay. Fuck yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. Dude, fuck yeah. Okay, so fuck, marry, kill, period. Again. That's a game. That's a game,
baby.
Dude, hell yeah. Are we ready for
Let's
patch
go
notes?
to patch notes then.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Patch Notes. This week we just wanted to say the world is opening up, and that is a joyful thing, but also there are a couple things to be safe about. Make sure to get vaccinated if you can. Make sure to stay safe out there. We are still in a pandemic, but we just wanted to say we hope you guys stay safe out there. And
the work's not done, team. Like, we're getting vaccinated, but make sure that you are going out to seek out vaccinations if you can. Make sure that you're following the rules about those dates for those vaccines as much as you can as well, because I know you're supposed to wait a week or two after your second shot, or 2 weeks if you just get the first.
2 weeks incubation period after your second shot. At least that's on the Pfizer. I don't know how the Johnson & Johnson thing works, but just read up.
We are at the point where we see the light at the end of the tunnel, but we do have to make sure that we are patient getting there. We are so close to things being a little bit normal again.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of describing it. A little bit normal, but I think this is awesome because we got a little bit of hope now. And the world, we get to go out, go do some shit again, have some laughs, and find some joy again outside. And I think that's really wonderful. And we, hope as much as we can. We hope that you all stay safe out there, and that you achieve everything that you want to do.
Thank you all so much, as always, for listening. The intro and outro music we use is Cheap Shot by Anamanaguchi, an excellent song from an excellent band for an excellent game.
Also, speaking of that... Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I was just going to say, speaking of that game, my fucking physical copy came in. Woo!
My physical came in 2 days ago also. I'm very excited. Time to sit down and play through that with a couple friends. I'm AJ Hart.
And I'm Blake Rhea.
This has been Spiritual Successor, and these are cool games
that should not be made.